Hello and welcome to our presentation on instructional strategies for faculty working with underprepared online adult learners.
As we all know, the popularity of distance learning has skyrocketed in the past several years. Colleges around the world continue to expand their online offerings as this modality appeals to students who, for various reasons, can't attend a traditional classroom. We have looked at several different statistics of growth and found a few particularly helpful. The National Center for Education Statistics shows that there were 5.75 million students enrolled in any distance education course at a degree-granting post-secondary institution of learning in the fall of 2014. Additionally, the U.S. Department of Education's Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System produced their WCET Distance Education Enrollment Report in 2016, showing the following statistics, which are really demonstrative of the incredible growth we've seen over the past several years. In 2002, there were 1.6 million online students. In 2008, there were 4.6 million online students, and in 2014, there were 5.8 million online students. 32% of students in higher education take an online class at some point in their program of study, and some complete their entire degree program in an online classroom. Online education is a trend that is opening the doors of higher learning to a variety of students with different needs and lifestyles than traditional students. So who is the average online adult student? According to collegeatlas.org, the average online student is a 25 to 29-year-old woman taking classes while working full-time and values the ability to balance work, family, and schooling. Just over 2 million members, or approximately 64% of the 2016 graduating class, took the ACT exam. Of those that took the exam, the percentage of students that met the ACT college readiness benchmarks is as follows: 61% for English, 44% for reading, 41% for math, and 36% for science. As you can see, this means that there is a large number of students who do not have the proficiency necessary to immediately succeed in college, and these statistics do not take into account those students who did not take the exam. Because of this lack of proficiency, there are many students who can be considered underprepared. Jones and Becker defined underprepared students as first-generation college students, adults returning to school after many years because they need more skills, students who come to a college because they do not know what else to do, transfer students, students from low socioeconomic backgrounds, and minorities. An additional complication arises with online students who are returning to school after a significant period of time away, since many are already established in their careers but still lack the basic proficiencies necessary to succeed in college. Aside from the readiness categories measured in the ACT exam, many of these entering or returning online students are lacking even more basic skills, such as reading, writing, or computer skills. According to Scott and Normore, almost half of the students who enter community colleges nationwide drop out before their second year, making room for an entirely new group of students, most of whom are remedial or basic skills students, and almost half of whom, in turn, will drop out as well. In order to be successful with this group of underprepared, at-risk students, faculty need to have a specialized skill set. In addressing the issue of how online faculty can address the specific problems presented by underprepared college students, we first look back at what strategies have proven effective for college faculty generally. Therefore, we need to touch on Chickering's 7 principles for good practice in undergraduate education. They are: encourage contact between students and faculty, develop reciprocity and cooperation among students, encourage active learning, give prompt feedback, emphasize time on task, communicate high expectations, and respect diverse talents and ways of learning. According to Terrell, these principles have been extensively analyzed and applied to evolving educational practices. Unfortunately, the results of Terrell's research also indicate a disconnect between existing faculty teaching skills and the skills actually required for successful online teaching. In attempting to apply Chickering's active learning principle to underprepared online learners, we must first examine the recommendations for online learning overall. As Becker describes, multiple sources have almost exclusively recommended constructivist models of learning as a guide for the design and delivery of internet-based courses. Constructivism says that people construct their own understanding and knowledge of the world through experiencing things and reflecting on those experiences. When we encounter something new, we have to reconcile it with our previous ideas and experience, maybe changing what we believe or maybe discarding the new information as irrelevant. Constructivist teachers encourage students to constantly assess how the activity is helping them gain understanding. With well-planned classroom environment, the students learn how to learn.
As students re-enter the online learning environment after an absence, the need for clear instructional strategies is necessary for success. A variety of tools can be used to enhance classroom learning and retention as they pertain to Chickering's 7 principles of success, particularly the third principle, which is encourage active learning. Active learning is experiential, mindful, and engaging. It's learning where students are actively engaged in the concepts through a variety of senses. We have identified 3 specific instructional strategies that online faculty can use to assist underprepared learners through this process. Those include worksheets, guided video instruction, and graphic organizers. Because many are lacking in the necessary skills, what they really need, even more than their more prepared peers, is guidance on how to go about learning. One of the many techniques that teachers use is scaffolding of instruction. This is a process of modeling or demonstrating how to solve a problem with guided support as needed, proceeding in a step-by-step manner, building upon knowledge. Some of the research suggests that scaffolds, such as worksheets, may not play a significant role in enhancing student learning, as worksheets don't encourage interaction with others. However, within the context of the online classroom and in dealing with the underprepared students who may have deficits in writing, using a structured approach, such as a worksheet, has proven to be successful. Worksheets can be an effective tool in helping students focus on the big picture. They also are efficient as a means of having students summarize content through a guided approach. Worksheets teach students to learn from their textbooks and to make connections between new and previously learned concepts in a structured manner. This is essential for the underprepared learner. Here is an example of a worksheet assignment used in a psychology class. Rather than have the underprepared student write a paper on a particular concept, we can have them highlight key learning in a structured approach, making those connections to the reading. Worksheets can help students develop focus on the weekly objectives while not having the anxiety that can be associated with writing a paper. We can also scaffold instruction whereby the culminating assignment is a paper that is based upon the concepts gleaned from the worksheets. The structured approach of the worksheet is not for every student, but for those coming back to college for some time away and with limited skills, they are an effective alternative to writing a paper. We began our presentation with a look at the prevalence of online education and how it has grown over the years. We learned that online education grew from 1.6 million in 2002 to 5.8 million in 2014. As a result of this growth in online learning, more creative and engaging methods must be employed to transition students into the online classroom. Educators need to take on new responsibilities and learn unique skills to address remote students and their needs. In the online asynchronous environment, we can include video instruction to help students grasp concepts in a variety of ways. Rudd suggests the use of videos in online education has become progressively more important in providing varied and interesting pedagogical opportunities for educators and parallels students' needs for interactive and engaging lessons in a changing classroom. Using video instruction in the classroom is a teaching modality that engages viewers, using multiple senses from sight to sound, and can generate excitement about a subject or concept. Students will enjoy the experience and retain more information from class. A few quick ideas of ways you can integrate video in your class include a course welcome, a launching point for a group discussion, mini lectures, simulations or demonstrations, grading feedback, or even how-to videos. In the next slide, you'll see a short course welcome that I use in some of the classes I teach. Videos are a great way to establish connection with your students since we don't have that first night together to discuss ourselves. And remember, establishing connection is one of the Chickering's 7 principles. The important thing to remember about using video in the classroom too is to ensure you are meeting compliance requirements related to ADA. In our online asynchronous environment, much learning is self-directed. Students don't have the luxury of a teacher standing before them, lecturing and going over every key concept in the reading. A graphic organizer can help students to highlight and identify the most important concepts in a structured and organized approach. With the increasing growth of online education, strategies such as the use of a graphic organizer may help students learn textbook content without the aid of instructors. The graphic organizer can be assigned prior to reading so that the students can be cued about the text structure and then take notes while they read, thereby increasing time to task and attention. Graphic organizers provide a structured overview of the reading. Research has also told us that when students take notes as compared to those who do not, they generally comprehend better because note-taking requires that students selectively attend to the information, and that activity assists in encoding. And finally, graphic organizers are an effective reading comprehension tool for all learners, but they've been used extensively in the past with students with disabilities or English language learners. A graphic organizer allows students to visually access and understand information. Graphic organizers are a visual map that represents information from a textbook that depicts the relationship between concepts, the text structure, and/or key concepts of the text. Here we find an example of a graphic organizer used in a psychology class. These come in many different forms, from outline to chart, Venn, fishbone, to name a few. Explore the many types and select based on what meets the needs of your students and the content being covered. This is an example of a chart that will coincide with the required reading. Using a graphic organizer while reading will help students to focus attention to task and take notes that pertain to the weekly objectives. This is an engaging activity that will help students get the most out of their reading.
In summary, we have found the use of graphic organizers, video instruction, and worksheets to be successful in elevating student success and overall retention of the underprepared learner who has deficits in reading, writing, and basic computer skills. Our research is based upon Chickering's 7 principles of success, primarily the active learning principle. Active learning is experiential and mindful and supports the constructivist view that it is essential for students to learn how to learn. Our goal is to help students develop confidence in their abilities through the use of these strategies in the online learning environment. We will continue to refine our research with the goal of addressing the unique needs of the underprepared learner so that they may experience school success. If you have any questions or comments about our presentation, feel free to contact us at any time. We'd like to thank our references for their great work. Thanks for listening.